Shocking. As a system, I actually wear books to become a female supporting character. Introduction. Crazy critic of the evil Dr. X, abnormal cannon fodder female supporting character. If you don't like it, please spray lightly, thank you. I am a pure and lovely system that works diligently. Even if I don't get a vacation, I will be sent to a novel world where everyone is not good, and become one of the abnormal cannon fodder female supporting characters. He also made me crazy about criticizing the big villains. Chapter 1. The entire text is not a good person. You are listening at novel full.audio. The moonlight is as cold as silver, casually enveloping the tall buildings of a city. The black Maybach, plated with moonlight, intruded into the gradually bleak wind, raising a thin layer of dust. In the back seat of the car, the man's tall body leaned slightly against the back of the chair, his slender legs overlapping, exuding a sinister and luxurious aura. Raising his hand, the man's well-defined fingers took off his glasses, folded them, and placed them in the pocket of his suit jacket. The phone lit up, and the man's cold eyes scanned and connected. "Sir. The new lady is missing." Upon hearing this, the man frowned fiercely, his eyes filled with hostility and disgust, and his voice was cold. "Don't worry about her, let's just die." Then, he hung up the phone. The man pinched the center of his brow, but the restlessness between his eyebrows and eyes lingered. A few days ago, the old man found him a wife again, who was chosen from 1,000 options. He was born into a scholarly family and had a gentle and refined personality. As a result, she is a mutated woman. On his wedding night, he secretly watched him take a shower and was kicked out to sleep in the guest room. As a result, he sneaked into his room in the middle of the night and stared at him for over 3 hours, causing him to not rest well all night. Looking out the window at the increasingly dark night, the man's eyes gradually became shrouded in mist, cold and gloomy. At the same time, in the wardrobe of the master bedroom in a luxurious villa. "Brother Doe, do you have to play so differently?" The skinny girl crouched in the dark wardrobe and asked in her heart. "Host, this is a task that you must complete by drawing lots yourself. Will he kill me with such a change of state? I almost died the last 2 times. The girl thought of the draw she had drawn last time and wanted to slap herself twice. First sign, sneak a peek at the crazy villain bathing. The second sign, sneak into the villain's room in the middle of the night and stare at him for 3 hours. Go to hell. It's like killing someone. The big villain almost hung her up and stabbed her one by one. Host, rest assured that you have a protective mechanism and won't die. But you can feel the pain. Why did the leader choose me? I'm just a simple system, the girl roared. A few days ago, she was a carefree and happy host of the system, but due to the changing nature of the novel world, she couldn't find a suitable candidate to replace one of the cannon fodder changing female supporting roles. After 250 arduous screenings, the host selected her. This is the first time in the system industry that a system has been appointed, and she is the lucky one. She begged the Lord in every way, and after calling him his adoptive father 100 times, the Lord reluctantly gave up and let her voluntarily take office. This time I traveled through a novel called The Prisoner's Love of Mr. Sick Jiao. The male protagonist Leng's family is prominent, but he is extremely sickly and delicate. He loves the female protagonist to the bone. The female protagonist Yi Lian's family is average, but she is a vicious tea with white lotus flowers, captivating important figures in the entire novel world. Qi Jing, the second male student, is a famous professor at a university. She is a white-cut black, holds a high position of power, and also deeply loves the female lead. Crazy criticism of the villain Feng Xian appears to be a doctor, but his actual identity and background are not simple. After meeting the female lead, he fell in love with her, but was forced to marry a wife. That's her current identity. Miss Qi from the Qi family is late in life. She appears gentle on the surface, but behind her back, she is a pervert. She has read countless beautiful men, but of course, she is also a cannon fodder, and in just a few chapters, she's gone. The cause of death is also very strange. The male protagonist in the original book is passionately confessing to the female protagonist, while she is tracking little fresh meat and accidentally kicks down the love candle prepared by the male protagonist. Then she was caught by the sickly male protagonist, Quack. In summary, the entire article is not a good person. And her mission this time is to campaign against the big villains and survive until the end. Thinking about the character design of this article and the third draw just now, Chi Sui almost cried in the wardrobe. If she continues to change her demeanor like this, not to mention the strategy villain, surviving is a problem. Just half an hour ago, Chi Sui drew the third draw and hid in the wardrobe to watch the big villain undress. Strategy. Isn't the big villain supposed to run further and dislike her even more since she has changed her attitude so much? How to guide it? She doesn't want to complete this task, but she has to do it because only by completing the task can she return to the system world and take a year off, otherwise she will be repeatedly abused in this world. Since she started working, taking a vacation has become a luxury, and a year off is a huge temptation for her. Chapter 2. Execution of Tasks. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 3. I love you until the sea withers and the rocks crumble, right? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 4. Invincible Diamond Feet. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Late in the year, lying in bed, the outside was silent. She gradually relaxed. Finally, I can have a good sleep. At the end of the year, I stretched lazily, wrapped the blanket around my body, and fell asleep soundly. And what she didn't know was the damp and dark basement in a corner of the villa. Feng Xian sneered and wiped away the blood from his face, playing with the bloody surgical knife with his fingers and staring at the man crawling under his feet in pain with murderous eyes. The man's face was contorted with pain, but he couldn't speak. He looked at Feng Xian as if he had seen a demon crawling out of the depths of hell. Fear filled his eyes and he struggled to crawl towards the darkness. Feng Xian's eyes were crimson at the end, with a wild smile at the corners of his mouth. His eyes were stained with slaughter, and blood slid from the surgical knife. The cold sound of his leather shoes echoed towards the man in the corner. The night gradually darkened, even though it was black, it was terrifying like spreading blood. Vertical sun. My pupils are hazy, and a white light is splitting in the sky. Ding. The piercing mechanical sound came, and Chi Sui suddenly bounced up from the bed. What's going on? It's only 6:30 now. Chi Sui looked at the alarm clock by the bedside and scratched her hair irritably. Task assigned. Please consider whether to draw lots, host. Late in life. If she could really consider it, she would definitely choose not to smoke. But while this system may sound like a consideration, it is actually mandatory. Draw. Drawing lots in progress. Congratulations to the host for winning the second draw. Grab the villain's breakfast and say it tastes like yours, it's really delicious. At the end of the year, the original site petrified and cracked. After filling up the scene on her own, Chi Sui's whole body trembled with coldness and angrily smashed the pillow, saying, "Why is the task so different?" Because the character design of the original canon fodder female supporting character is a transformation, the more transformation, the better. Late in life, grit your teeth and gnash your teeth. Alright, if you want to change your attitude, then change it to the end. After a simple wash, at the end of the year, I ran wildly and stomped heavily on the stairs, with a thumping sound that seemed to catch someone's attention. At the last 2 steps of the stairs, there was only a click, and the wooden stairs were trampled down by Chi Sui, with one of her feet even piercing in. The awkwardness spread to the entire villa with that click. 50,000 yuan per staircase. The man sitting leisurely at the breakfast table not far away glanced at her and said coldly. Such a staircase costs 50,000 yuan. It's not my fault, it's clearly your staircase that's old and in disrepair. Chi Sui slowly extended her foot from the staircase, awkwardly smiling. This is snake-patterned wood, the most precious wood in the world, with a hardness comparable to red diamonds. 1 pound can reach tens of thousands, which is even less than 50,000 for you. The man sneered coldly, with a hint of mockery in his eyes. Snake-patterned wood. Is the hardness comparable to a red diamond? Over 10,000 per kilogram. At the end of her life, Chi Sui lowered her gaze and glanced at her feet. There was nothing wrong with her, and there was a big hole in the staircase. This man must have bought a fake, right? The man glanced at Chi Sui in his spare time, taking in all the disgust and ridicule in her eyes. He couldn't help but furrow his brows slightly, pinch the tableware tightly, and a faint anger lingered in his eyes. At the end of the year, Chi Sui lowered her head and rolled up her pants, walking to the dining table. The man lowered his gaze and glanced at her feet. She was wearing slippers, with her pants half rolled and revealing her fair ankle and half of her calf, intact and without any red marks. Chi Sui looked at him with a faint smile in her eyes, almost writing the words, "You bought a fake," on her face. But unexpectedly, the man took a leisurely breakfast, his thin lips slightly parted, and his voice became cold. "Your feet are really hard." Chi Sui was confused and then crossed the leg that had just entered the stairs to the man's feet. He patted his face arrogantly and said, "Invincible diamond legs, harder than diamonds. Give it a try. It's so satisfying to step on your back." The man paused his hand and listened to her unabashed and calm words, his face cracking slightly. Then he coldly glanced at her with a wicked charm at the end of his eyes and said, "It's good for doing research. Late in life. Reminder to the host, there are still 10 minutes left for the task. Failure to complete the task within 10 minutes will result in punishment." At the end of the year, I was surprised and my grandmother forgot her mission again. Looking at the man who was still eating breakfast, Chi Suegyo threw himself into his arms and showed a painful expression. "Husband, my feet hurt so much. Can you help him take a look? This way, I had a chance to grab your breakfast. Isn't it the invincible King Kong foot? Are you still afraid of pain?" Feng Xian's eyes darkened and coldly pushed her away, patting the area she had touched. Late in life. Chapter 5. Stomp feet in a furious manner. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Even though Chi Sui tried to find excuses to approach the man, he pushed her away with a cold expression and ate breakfast on his own. Chi Sui wanted to reach out and grab his breakfast, but his tall body couldn't even grab it. Warning host, there are still 2 minutes left. Grandma's. At the end of her life, when Feng Xian was about to feed a piece of bacon to her mouth, she quickly leaned in, took a bite of the bacon, and then said the words required by the task. "It tastes like a husband, it's really fragrant." The man was stunned for a moment, and when he realized it, the woman who had just mentioned foot pain ran away without a trace. Late. Year old. Ah. The man's crazy and violent voice exploded in the villa, and Chi Sui, who was hiding in the dark to peek, silently protected her neck as she looked at the fork that had been broken by the man's 2 fingers. Feng Xian threw all the utensils on the table into the trash can, including the unfinished breakfast, and then wiped his hands in disgust. This guy has a cleanliness fetish. The man was very angry, but he didn't know what to take out of it. In a fit of anger, he stomped his foot in place, tore open the door, and slammed it away. After the man left, Chi Suizhao let out a deep breath and after a while, she began to smirk, her smile particularly lewd. Strategy is a secondary task, living and making money are the main tasks. Women need to be self-sufficient, and men cannot rely on them. I want to get rich, and only when I have strong economic strength can I truly stand firm in this world. Late in life, she muttered in bed, imagining in her mind. Making money also requires taking action. The sound of the system suddenly rang out. I also want to take action, but I don't know what to do to make a lot of money, Chi Sui said as she bounced up from bed and scratched her head in distress. Think about every world you've been to before, what's the most profitable? The worlds I used to live in were all filled with gold from birth, so there was no need to make money. The only female protagonist who made a fortune on her own relied on repairing cars, said the elderly woman. Suddenly, she lifted her sleeves and showed off her muscles, with a light shining in her eyes. What do you think of me going to repair cars to make money? Look at my muscles, you can even flip a car over. You might as well go grab a car late in life. After tossing and turning in bed for a long time, Chi Sui finally couldn't come up with a suitable career for her. Can she only go home and inherit 100 billion yuan worth of property in this lifetime? Unable to think of a suitable profession, Chi Sui thought through the plot of the novel. In the novel, she is just an inconspicuous cannon fodder. In fact, there is no need to hold on to the antagonist's thigh. As long as she stays away from them, she can live well and still have a beautiful man in her arms every day. But her task is to attack the villain, and she has to get close to the villain. In that case, she can only stay away from the male and female lead and the male lead. In the future, as long as the male and female leads and the male lead are present, she will stay away. If possible, she will catch the melon seeds and watch them fight from afar. As the saying goes, 3 women play a play. Isn't the scene of 3 men and 1 woman also pretty good? Do we have to blend it in? You need to protect the villain, he's dead. Your mission has failed, and you're also done. The system silently reminded. Late in life. MD, I forgot about this one. In the original book, 3 men fought fiercely for the female protagonist, which was truly intense. One is a sickly woman, one is a crazy critic, and the other is a white cut black. On the surface, they are all very friendly and have a deep sense of loyalty. They engage in various struggles and suppression behind their backs, and have eaten a lot of bullets. However, even if their lives are hard, not a single one dies. It was not until the end that the crazy critic and the white cut black were jointly killed by the male and female leads. Can't the big villain not participate? Is it not fragrant to live well? Chi Sui was lying in bed with her legs crossed. If he doesn't participate, you won't have a task. Chi Sui was taken aback for a moment, then his eyes lit up and he bounced up from the bed again. Yes, then let him not participate. As she spoke, she gave a strange smile of self-reflection. Host, you cannot kill the villain. Who said they're going to kill him? I'll just stop him from meeting the male and female protagonists, so that the villain can live and I can return to the system world, Chi Sui said happily. It is indeed a system, with a simple mind, ah. Chi Sui was feeling happy and didn't realize what the system was saying. I said please prepare, there may be more tasks to be completed later. Late in life. Paralyzed, howling, twisted, and wriggling darkly. Chapter 6. Midnight split for the villain to see. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 7. Because of your strength. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 8. Have you figured out how to die? You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 9. He's so crazy that he's not going to die anymore. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 10. You count the plate and make a real noise. You are listening at novel full. Audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text.